Jana Schmieding. Welcome to General Meeting with Becky Sloviter. I am so delighted that you are here. You are, among many other things, an acclaimed actor. God, are we going to talk about my favorite show ever, Reservation Dogs? But you, I think, are predominantly known for your breakout lead role on the great show Rutherford Falls that ran for 2 seasons on Peacock and was co-created by Sierra Taylor-Ornelas with Mike Shore and Ed Helms, and also produced by the great Mike Falbo. We are president and vice president. We switch off for the fan club of Mike Falbo. We love you, Falbo.
Love you, Falbo.
You are a really successful podcaster. You are many things. You are also part of the Lakota tribal nation, specifically the Cheyenne River Lakota Sioux. Yes, great. We're going to get into all of this.
This is you're doing an amazing job so far. I can't tell you enough how...
Oh my God. I'm like attempting to be semi-professional.
No, you're nailing it.
Thank you so much. You are also from my favorite state of all time, Oregon.
Really?
And when we worked together last year on Let's Have Kids, which we shot up in Portland.
Yeah, that was such a delightful, because that was the first feature that I've ever been in.
Is that true?
Yeah. And I was like, a feature in Oregon City, and like
crazy.
Playing sort of a woo-woo birthing doula yoga instructor, which is a character that I love to make fun of.
Oh, it's so
especially as an Oregonian.
It was so great. We will talk way more about that in a moment. But one last thing that I didn't want to forget to mention. Among the many other things that you've done in your career, you also were you a middle school teacher for a period of time, high school?
Both.
Okay. God bless you. Like, I have a middle schooler right now. I think about his teachers a lot and what they have to deal with. So we will get into all of this, but can we start at the beginning? So Oregon City specifically is where you were born and raised?
I was born in Eugene, Oregon, but I was raised in Canby, Oregon, and Oregon City. It's like small town vibes. Both of my parents were teachers.
Amazing.
In Canby.
At the school you went to?
Oh, yeah. I don't think I ever went to a school without one parent working there.
What was that like? A positive or a negative, ultimately?
Positive, I guess.
Yeah.
I sort of always had like the good teachers. I kind of had like the inside.
Thumb on the scale.
I was like, my dad was a PE teacher and like a health teacher, so he was also a coach, and he was a cool teacher. Like, people liked him, so that was helpful in the whole thing.
So then you go to University of Oregon.
Yep.
Were you always sort of intent on being a performer?
Yeah, I think by the time I got to college, I was like, I want to be an actor. I want to be good at performing.
Yeah.
And I want to make it like my skill. I was also an organizer for the Native Student Union at my university, and I learned performance as a skill, but I also learned like all stagecraft. Like I was like a theater arts major, so I learned like lighting design and all the technical skills.
Yeah.
Like a sort of a baseline understanding of like sound design, lighting design, how to put it together, like dramaturgy, the history of theater, script analysis, and I sort of struck gold with my teachers because my acting professor, who now I consider a friend, was a very deep thinking and well-trained performance instructor. And he is sort of the one, and a gay man, and he is sort of the one who like unleashed the like inner, I guess, clown, to use a really nerdy term, but like he unlocked like the cult of ancient performance art. You know what I mean? Where it's like there is this like weird, just like in any other academic study, there's a weird like undercurrent of like, this is an ancient art, and it's like there is a Western version. There's all the world has all the versions of performance,
and storytelling,
and this is like a craft that like you can like get in touch with like the ancestral roots of this craft if you really want to.
Yeah.
And I was like, take me there, baby. Very nerdy, very, very nerdy, like rolling around on the ground, writhing kind of like performance studies.
What was that teacher's name?
His name is John Schmoor.
Hi, John. Okay, great.
Love you, John. I shout him
And
out so much. I'm obsessed with John. He's so...
the difference that one person can make.
The difference that one person throughout, like in third grade, I had a teacher who was like, you're a really good writer. I'm going to send you to this like little kid writing conference in downtown Portland. And you're going to be with other kids for one day who are also like bringing their stories and his name was Mr. Netzel. And, you know, shout out Mr. Netzel, who like basically told me in third grade that I was a good writer. And from there on, I was like, I'm going to be a writer.
Yes.
Like,
it's as you are going about your journey, you could see that could be
Totally.
a future. So back to Professor Schmoor, when you say he sort of unlocked to some degree like the inner clown, is that like, did you not know you were so fucking funny before then?
I knew I was funny, and I had already started to get involved with the musical improv group that was like this grassroots improv group they were studying the works of Baby Wants Candy, which was a Chicago musical improv group.
Yep.
And sort of trying to emulate. And now there's like this long running improv group out of University of Oregon called Absolute Improv. It's almost like the Harvard Lampoon of the University of Oregon, but not doing a lot of sketch, just improv. And it's great to have those things out of colleges because it's like independent study, you know, and 100%. We're like specializing in our one thing and we're self-organized. So we're learning how to like put on shows, basically apply like our production skills. But we also have people coming in from the School of Business and blah, blah, blah. The university college experience, those are the things, those little side projects outside of your studies, the extracurricular work that are like, they come back and serve me in so many ways in my life. And I'm such an advocate for education and like higher education and like free education and all of the things because when you can really like apply the work that you are doing in school in your own life, it's like it truly, for me, unlocked so many things.
Totally. So then after you graduate, do you go right to New York?
Yeah.
Is the becoming a teacher that is to pay the bills and then you are...
Yes. It was much more... how can I afford to pay for improv classes?
Yep.
And so I took classes at UCB and the Magnet Theater and really started to go in the Magnet Theater direction because the Magnet, whereas UCB was a little more like, all the good people are going here and it's, you know, the SNL crew was starting to come out of UCB. The Magnet was a little bit more like, choose your own adventure, experimental, a little bit more of like the artsy fartsy, ugly cousin of UCB. It was like the nerdy cousin of UCB. And, you know, there are times in my life when I've been like, why didn't I just go to UCB? But now in my career, I'm like, everything has lined up perfectly for me.
Yeah.
And it's fine. And I sort of like, I try to take the judgment out of that path because my work is in that vein and it always kind of has been. It's always been a little bit more character, less game, a weirder, you know.
Was it also to some degree like bigger fish, smaller pond there because UCB was so like a marquee name?
It was a very interesting experience doing comedy in New York at that time. Because I was sort of looking to my left and to my right and seeing a lot of people that I was working with actively. Like finding themselves and striking gold. I felt sort of like a outcast. I still feel to a certain degree like I'm always like 5 steps behind everybody else my age, you know, because I have friends who had success earlier
Mhm.
And I have friends who have not found their thing yet, you know?
Exactly.
And like,
so yes,
I'm
you can
44. So like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what my degree of success is. I'm also native, and like that plays a factor into everything.
Totally.
And sometimes there are definitely days where I wake up and I'm like, the fact that I have had any success in this industry
Yeah.
is blowing my own mind.
Yeah.
The amount of like racism, sexism, all of the hurdles that one has to overcome to like even be seen or acknowledged in this industry
Yes.
it is wild.
It's so wild. It's like, great, the progress we've made. This is how I always feel in therapy. I'm like, oh, so much farther to go. But also, like, I have made some progress. Okay.
Totally.
There has been great progress. And also, like, the lack of representation
Right.
of Native culture on screen, of you growing up. I can't imagine.
And like,
what were even your examples?
Well, none. I
Right.
mean, yeah, I was looking at, you know, I was the same as everyone else and sort of like watching John Candy and Chris Farley.
Totally.
And all of my chubby kings. Like,
have you seen the John Candy documentary, by the way? I loved it so much.
Could I love him more? I guess so.
I exactly, because now I've seen it and I love him even more.
Gone
But so
too soon.
you grew up and loved those guys and loved a certain type of comedy. I feel like even before Rutherford and Res Dogs,
there was no comedy. And that's the other thing that I think is true about this industry is like sort of a bit of a like an upturned nose toward comedy. Comedy is so hard. It's actually such a challenge. Not saying that drama isn't, but like if you're in touch with yourself and you're in touch with your emotions and you've had like therapy, is like pretty accessible. And it's so celebrated. Like to move people to tears is like what we want. Nothing more in our culture than to like take someone so seriously. To move someone to laughter, though, is a different skill. It is so hard. And you have to have all of these other skills honed. For example, understanding an audience.
Yes.
And being able to read an audience.
To feel that and read the room.
To read a room and to like timing, like to know when something it's time to hit the joke, you know?
Totally.
Like it's such a specific kind of skill. And it's also to know your own comedy and to like have to sort of like rewrite the jokes that somebody's writing for you, how to look at them on the day and be like, okay, if I like turn it just this much, change the wording this amount, then that's going to be the funny one for me, you know?
Completely.
So it is, to me, I'm like, give like credit where credit is due. Like Bridesmaids should have won an Oscar.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's just like wild to me.
You took the words out of my mouth because
Yeah.
Bridesmaids is the example I do always think about of, I mean, again, it's a perfect movie and we could talk about that all day.
100%.
But it's almost underrated, even though everyone worships that movie.
And still to this day, like just like, it shines so brightly in my eyes, but like so does Muriel's Wedding. And Muriel's Wedding is like arguably not a comedy, but it's not it's not a straight drama either, you know? It's like, it like rides this perfect line and it's like, it's a lady ensemble of like such quality and like nuance and beauty and ugliness. And it's just so
all the things. This is a perfect segue actually to one of the things I wanted to talk about, which is when Reservation Dogs was on, 3 perfect seasons, you play Bev. My favorite of the aunties, if I have to choose. But really, you fucking knock it out of the park in that show.
Thank you.
That show, Sterling Harjo's incredible, incredible show. I'm not sure there's another show that straddled that line between comedy and drama better than Res Dogs. And what you were saying about Muriel's Wedding, like exactly. It's just what a beautiful show. What a like incredibly funny, even when dealing with like really heavy stuff.
Res Dogs is like such a specific voice and a specific like genre. I feel like it sort of hits that like Better Call Saul, like like the dramedy of it all.
Totally.
And I love it for that, and also like I think that that's sort of where Native people exist in naturally in our culture.
Yes, like there is an undercurrent of loss and grief and sadness.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
I just loved it. And then rewatched, I think the episode's called Wide Net, when the aunties go to the IHS conference. I mean, just brilliant.
I want to, for Wide Net specifically, which was such a fun experience to shoot, shout out to Tasba Chavez, who is the writer and the director of that episode. And is Bishop Paiute Navajo and Plains Apache writer and producer and director. She really like set the tone for shooting that episode, where all of us ladies, including Natalie Standing Cloud, who's an incredible tattoo artist who lives in Tulsa, and the Podemsky sisters, Tamara Podemsky and Sarah Podemsky, who are in their own right, like extraordinarily talented Indigenous women. Tamara Podemsky was on Broadway. She was in one of the first Mimis in Rent.
Oh, wow.
I know. She's a very like talent, and Sarah Podemsky is like a talented singer and dancer and comes, like these are like Native women who have so much skill in this industry but are completely underserved on screen. And so like the four of us getting together and rehearsing the dance, like it was exactly like the experience that you would want to like it's what you want. What you're doing this for,
Exactly. Like, which in this godforsaken industry, like having those moments along the way are so important, and that you really you cherish them at the time,
Totally.
And also Indigenous joy, which I feel like is certainly one of the aspects of you that I find so like compelling, and also that's like, we need this.
Yeah, we really need it. I think that that's like why I sort of tout it all the time, and I do. I really believe in it, and I believe in its power. I have been doing comedy since I was, since 2000 or 1998, and the Podemsky sisters are on Broadway. It's like all of the work that we've been doing in our own individual lives to be able to culminate in a project like Reservation Dogs or like Rutherford Falls is like okay. It's
totally.
like this feeling of like we're getting somewhere.
Yes,
finally,
exactly. Like actual progress.
Yeah,
totally.
And like my first job on screen and getting paid to like do the work that I've been doing for free or paying to do it for years and years happened when I was 39.
It's amazing. It's amazing, and that was Rutherford. That was really okay. I wanted to ask how that came about. Did you know Sierra? Was it a cold audition? Tell us the story.
Basically, I had been living in LA. I moved to LA from New York City, where I was a teacher for 10 years. And I moved to LA to try to be a writer. And I sort of knew, like, I'm in a bigger body. I'm a Native person. I just, like, I don't think I'm going to be, like, noticed by LA. Like, I don't think that getting in, like, just jumping in and starting to audition, I just don't think that that's going to be the way for me. It never has been. And so I'm going to try to get in with my brain. So I taught myself how to write pilots and sort of like simulated a writer's room for myself with my friends and like had them come over and like pitch on and stuff. And then I started a podcast called Woman of Size, and I had been interviewing different people, and I kept hearing the name Sierra. Like, the only Native TV writer in town is this woman, Sierra, and she's working on Superstore, and like, good luck getting a hold of her, basically, was like kind of the message. And I was like, okay, I'll do my best. And so anyway, I finally got in touch with her through another comedian, and I asked her to come on my pod, and I had meanwhile been trying to apply to all of these diversity fellowships, like the NBC, the Warner, like all of the like different fellowships, the submitting my scripts to like script competitions. Nothing was happening. I literally had a spreadsheet of like all of the different submissions that I had made and
Yep.
like rejection. I posted to Instagram, I remember like in 2018 or 19, all of my rejection like emails that I had gotten. And it was
amazing.
like 12 or like
Ugh.
15. It was so funny. And I
Were
was
you
just like,
posting this after you had some real success?
no.
I love it.
No.
But it was, I mean, I'm stealing this line from Reservation Dogs, but I just rewatched the episode. It's when like you're releasing the pain almost.
Yes, I was releasing it because it was fucking hilarious to me. I was just like, what a loser. Like who is so bad at this that they can't even get like a diversity scholarship? But also I was trying to put the pieces together because I was like, there's no way that my writing is bad. Like there's no way. I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing in terms of the industry, but like I know what I'm doing in terms of like my own creativity. The same week that I had Sierra on the podcast, I also had my friend Lauren Ashley had connected me with her manager at 3 Arts, and so
Lauren Ashley Smith?
Yes.
Yes.
I signed with
She's great. With Katie Newman. The great Katie Newman.
My girl. And then I had Sierra on the podcast, and we were talking about Rutherford Falls being in development and how they're trying to like put a room together and what that process was like. And she was like, do you have any writing samples at the end when we stopped? And I was like, do I?
Girl, one sec.
But I sent my samples to them, and I sort of, for a couple months, it was seeming like it wasn't going to happen for me, or like I wasn't going to get the job. I was just like, if I don't get this job, like I'm going to move back to Oregon.
Yeah, like this really might be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like this
if I can,
yes.
Not only are you so talented, you're bullseye for what this show, a voice that needs to be a part of this show.
Yeah.
And supporting Sarah's vision and all of that.
Yeah. And I was already sort of internalizing the messaging that I was getting from all of the like festival rejections and stuff, that I was like, I must not be that good, or the industry has no interest in a lead character who is a Native woman who is grappling with the realities of her own history and what the contemporary needs of our people, and also her personal needs, and like what it's like to be a Native person not in leather and feathers, like what is it like to just be a Native woman who lives amongst y'all and like whatever, which I think is a very funny disposition. Then, eventually I got hired. Rutherford Falls happened. I was in the writer's room. I was a staff writer. It was my first staffing job. We knew Ed was cast as Nathan.
Yep.
And he was in the room with us all the time. And it was also wonderful to work under Mike Schur, who is like it was just so cool to watch how he crafts episodes of TV.
Yes.
And like helps us to like, it was just so fun. And also to be in a writer's room with other Native people, like literally in my entire my life's work, all of the different career paths that I've had, never have worked with another Native person, like professionally. Not even one other Native person.
Totally. Because you got that spot.
Yeah, exactly. So just to be like that affirming feeling to be in that room alone, that was in January of 2020. And then middle of March, pandemic happened.
Yes.
That week, I had my second audition for Regan, which sort of came out of the blue from Sierra. We were auditioning all of the Regans, and I remember the writer's assistant, Caitlin, came up to me. I was talking to her. I was like, I just don't even know, like, who are we going to cast for Regan? Because she needs to be able to go one-on-one with Ed.
Yep.
Like, and Ed is a really good improviser. He's like famous from The Office. Like, that we have to like find somebody who can really step up to that. And I remember Caitlin saying like, well, I want it to be you. And I was like, it just went in one ear and came out the other, because I was like, there's no way. There's no way. I've packed this dream of being a performer away. I'm a writer now. I'm not going to be on screen. It's just that's not the vision. Then a couple days later, I got this email from Sierra that was like sides for one of the bullies to audition for like a smaller part, and then sides for Regan. And I was like, this is a mistake. Like, I think you accidentally sent me Regan sides. And she was like, no, I want you to read for Regan. And I was like, okay. And then it clicked in, okay, I
Like you
I'm
could
gonna
let
try.
it in.
Yes, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna
Totally.
really fucking try.
Right.
And I had 2 screen tests with Ed. The first one was very fun, and I just treated it like a live show,
Totally.
like a sketch show.
And did you have some, because you had been in the writer's room with him, you had a good rapport.
Had rapport.
You were comfortable. You've had a really big hand in crafting and finding her voice and all of that. So that was such a natural segue, but also gulp, like you're in the fucking deep end here, right?
Yeah, to me, I was like, oh, I hadn't really been thinking about Regan as me at all.
Right.
And then when I was going to audition for her, I was like, I can make her mine. I just have to lean into how I actually feel about this very opportunity, which is I'm going to be bold, I'm going to be brave, but I'm very sweaty and very nervous about it. But I am going to push through and I'm just going to take charge, And so
Totally.
I think that is how sort of it helped to bring Regan about in the same situation.
That's great.
And and then the second screen test I did with Ed, they were like, we want to make sure you can do drama.
Sure, you're like, sit down.
I was like, oh,
don't worry.
No shade to dramatic actors, but it is not as hard as comedy, in my humble opinion. So it was, and and everybody was on my team. Everyone in the writer's room was like, we're gonna let's get you in there, and it felt like a team effort.
Totally. And what an ideal experience in some ways, because the auditioning process, like what a fucking waking nightmare.
Oh,
and also then, I mean, I'm sure you have both things going through your head. Like, okay, I'm now like letting the possibility that this might happen in. I'm going to sort of acknowledge this could be a thing, but I don't want to get my hopes up too much. And man, it's going to really be painful if I am like sitting in this writer's room and now it's not me and all of it. But then you want to bring your full self to it. It's just like, it's such a mind fuck. But knowing everyone was sort of in your corner.
Yeah.
How amazing.
Yeah. And we as the writers were also the ones sort of helping with the casting, because with the native acting scene, it's kind of tricky because there's a lot of native presenting actors out there who are not necessarily like in community with other native people.
Yeah.
So we're asking an actor, if an actor is auditioning for like a white role, it's not questioned at all. But if an actor is being asked to be in a non-white role, it's asking them so much, not only to be funny to a non-native audience, but also like as a native actor, we're like, we want to cast somebody who is in the community, somebody who we know is reliable, somebody who's not going to bring bad PR to this project by actually being, Filipino and not like, you know what I mean? It's like, there's all these weird things that we have to consider. And I think that like having built a rapport with the writers and, building friendships with them, it was like, I think that there was some relief,
Yeah.
And then also on my part, feeling like, I get to meet, I can't remember her name right now off the top of my head, the casting director,
Allison Jones,
like,
greatest.
getting, they're like, you're going to go have a meeting, your first audition is going to be with Allison Jones. And I was like, okay, cool. And all of my actor friends are like, you're meeting Allison Jones? And I was like, yeah. I did. Again, I had completely packed away those dreams. I wasn't auditioning for things, I was like trying to get my writing scene.
Yeah.
And so when I met with Allison Jones, she was like, how come I don't know who you are?
Sounds like her. I love her so much.
Yeah. And I said, probably because I'm native. Honestly. Like you don't know that like native people are out here like living and thriving and working and trying to do the same shit that everybody else is doing. We are literally that erased.
Well, exactly, which is what it is in all of society as well. So it's like in Hollywood, a microcosm of that or emblematic of that, whatever the wording is, in such a fucked up way. Yeah. And that's also, but the positive lens of That show was just fucking funny.
Yeah.
You were so great in that part.
It was so fun to make.
Yes, exactly.
It was truly a joy from top to bottom. We never had a bad, like, I feel like we made it part of our job to like have a good time.
Yes.
And like to have a joyful experience in production.
Totally. It makes all the difference, doesn't
does.
it? It really does.
And I, as a performer on that show, I took that responsibility on so much to make sure that everybody, all the crew, and I think that that's also comes from my teacher training, which is like
inclusive and like I see you.
The janitor is just as valuable as your colleagues.
Totally.
The school secretary plays a very meaningful role in the dynamics of the school. Like you want to make sure that your colleagues and the culture of the staff is like healthy and thriving, and everybody is acknowledged and recognized for their bringing their talent to it. And so I was like, I feel like I wanted to feel like the Rutherford mascot. Like I was like, I am like
that's
cheering
a great way
for
to put
us.
it.
Like we are like, we're out here, our little show, and we get to shoot on like the Universal lot. This is so major, you know? And it was like the first time that Native people were brought onto a set that big with a crew that big and like doing shots where we had to have the big rig with the light, you know, to make it moonlit, you know, and like doing night shoots and stuff. It was just like, ooh, like we were all just so jazzed.
Yeah.
Because we had never had it.
Can we talk about your podcast for a second?
Sure.
Okay. So it's called Sage-Based Wisdom.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about it. And your co-host name is?
Brian Bahi.
Yes, Brian Bahi.
Brian Bahi, my sweet
sweet angel,
my sweet baby brother. He is Hopi, Tonatham, and Navajo. He's a very, very funny and dry gay comedian.
You guys have
a
such
lot
a
of
good
stand-up.
vibe.
Oh my God, I know. It's very much me just
the
big
rapport.
sistering the hell out of him.
Totally.
It is basically we take callers and we watch TikToks about advice and we evaluate and we give advice, and it's usually very bad advice. But it's really just an opportunity for us to like, as two Native comedians, to like talk about the culture and what's going on. And
it's such a good vibe. I loved it. I knew a little bit about Women of Size. And so you did that podcast 2017 to 2019?
Yes.
So that's pre-Rutherford and Res Dogs.
I did it in partnership with what is Elizabeth Banks's
Brownstone Productions.
Before that she had like
Hoo Ha Ha.
Hoo Ha Ha.
There we go.
When Hoo Ha Ha had a podcast arm, I did it with them. And so
gotcha.
It was such a fun podcast. Did that one totally independently. Yeah. You know, self-produced, such a heavy lift, but it was worth it. I want to try all of the different comedies. I want to try all the different things, you know, all the different productions. And so I got to do that. And then I also got to build like a community of like really cool women and, you know, queer folks here in LA and beyond. And sort of like, it was just a great opportunity. I'm sure you're experiencing this yourself. Like it's such a fun opportunity to connect with people.
Yes.
To invite people into your home and be like, hey, let's hang out.
Let's hang.
Like,
exactly.
If we do nothing else this year together, let's have 1 hour of laughs.
I mean, it is like the thing that keeps me going through like all the ups. It's just like, it's renewed my soul a little bit.
Absolutely.
My creative soul.
Yes.
You know, I think I've been working in this town for 25 years. That will beat you down.
God.
And even with like a nice career that I'm really proud of and all of that. And still like my creative soul was sort of deadened. Making the movie that we made last year called Let's Have Kids, I want to tell the story just briefly and give context for the role that you play and how we came to this, because I don't know if I've even shared this with you.
I don't think so.
Okay, so you and I met in a general height of the pandemic, I'm going to say. It was either 2020 or 2021. Your amazing manager, Katie Newman, was like, you have to meet Jana. Falbo was like, oh, you will love her. Like, you, like I can't even, again, mutual fan club here.
Love Falbo.
The best. So we meet, we have a great Zoom. And when Adam and I were having a conversation one day, we were up in Portland prepping the movie. This is a one-day part, and we need someone who's like a comedy killer to come in and play this birthing yoga instructor for this class where the two leads of our movie, Karen Gillan and Zoe Chow, who are lifelong best friends, one of them is pregnant, one of them is not, but the friend who is not is joining her friend in class. There is another pair of best friends in that class, Amanda Crew and Lily Singh. They are on their third time around having babies at the exact same time, and just a like in your face to these other best friends who like weren't able to do their journey at the same time, which would be enough of like a nice juxtaposition and all of that, right? So Adam and I are talking one day, and he's like, who's just like so funny, but so real, but unexpected. And like, he's just like doing all these things. And it like crystallizes in my head right in this moment. I remember the street I was on in Portland when I was like, oh, Jana Schmieding, I'll call you right back. And I like dialed Katie Newman on her cell phone. And I was like, is she available? Because at that point you had been Bev in Res Dogs, which is just, again, can't say enough about this show and about that performance. And I just, having met you, everyone is obsessed with you. And then seeing your work in Res Dogs additionally, I was like, you can bring all the things to this character of Rain, who is, again, there's a real specificity to her. And there was great stuff on the page. Adam and Ellie wrote a wonderful script. Mm-hmm. You elevated it even beyond that. And that's what we were so excited about. When I called Katie that day, she was like, she's from Oregon. I was like, what? And I was like, make it happen, girl. Called your agents, did the whole thing there. We were so fortunate that you came up. And then because Dustin Milligan on Rutherford Falls is married to Amanda Crew, who was, by the way, the first guest on this podcast. You did? Okay, good. We talked about you on that one. Because all roads lead back to Crew and Dustin. But they really do. We were so excited that day. And then that you guys had a scene together. And so I remember Crew sending like a bunch of selfies to Dustin that day. Like, look who I'm with.
Oh my gosh.
It was great.
It was like one of the funnest days on set I feel like I've ever had. And honestly, like nothing makes me more like horny than making the other castmates break and the crew. If I can make the crew laugh,
forget it.
I'm
like, are you like,
I'm like in my power
100%.
And that is like the goal that I go into with like anything. I live for a smaller role like that. Like I love the size of Bev's role.
Yes.
I love playing Regan, and it's like so fun, and to work with Ed was like such a joy. But like there's nothing like popping on real quick and being like, and a little weirdo, and then leaving, you know?
It's a killer part. I can't wait for you to see the movie.
Neither can I. Get it together, people. When are we going to see this?
Come on. I know, exactly. And what you and Lily Singh, and I don't even think you guys talked about it. Like, I don't think this was, it was prepared. But you guys have the funniest moment. You were, as you always are, like such a pro, so prepared, but also like gonna do your thing with it. And Adam and I remember the end of that shoot day, which was wild because I was racing to get Amanda and Lily to the airport. But I just remember being like, fuck yes. Like we nailed it today because we chose correctly.
Oh, that's so good. Nice.
Yeah.
That feels so good to hear.
No, good.
But I also will say that like so much of that like is just like the training, like the comedy training and the ability to you know, come in with all of the tools and like to sort of intuit what is needed and how like what is happening in the first take. I'm watching like doing the sort of like the scripted version, and I'm watching what other people are trying to add, and then how can I like build off of that and then like cut somebody off or do, you know, fuck with it a little bit. And like there's just like, and to have a cast like that where you're just like, we're all down to clown
totally
is the best.
When we were in the edit and there is a moment when Karen Gillan's character is trying to tell you what her name is and you keep mishearing it. I mean, I was crying.
And it's like,
we were just talk about like we were cracking up. Like Adam at one point is like, we can't ruin this take. Like I was snarfing. It was amazing. You're amazing. And I didn't realize that was your first feature, but I'm honored. Oh,
it is.
Can't wait. It will be out next year. We just don't have a release date yet. And I can't wait for it.
I love the ability to share those experiences with you and with just the many women in my life. Like, I'm just so grateful for all of the women.
Yes.
All of us are just like here to have the experiences. It's like, however we have to make it happen. And right now I'm working on trying to get my own feature funded, which is like an Uncle Buck, but an Auntie Buck.
You've told me about this. Yes.
And I'm like,
Auntie Chuck?
Auntie
Is that what
Chuck.
it's called? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's so hard. And I'm like, come on, give me the money. Like, all I want is the experience of doing this one thing. Like, just let me have this.
I was talking to another guest about this. Like, the amount of trillions is what it feels like that are spent on soulless garbage. And like, even worse, not funny.
Yeah,
not funny garbage. Not into that. And again, that doesn't need to be expensive. It's an amazing logline. I love Uncle Buck so much. So it's you as Auntie Chuck. You get exactly what that is.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like a Resi Auntie Chuck. It's a Resi Uncle Buck, but an auntie. Like, what more is
done
there?
and done.
Like, and I think that there's something to be said for the fact that like the only people who are really, really like showing any interest in this story are other women.
Yeah.
Like other women who are like, God, I need a laugh.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't take any more of these like psychotic like robot sex horrors.
Oh my God.
Made by men.
I was going to go down a road about AI. And then I was like, you know what? We don't need to.
Not today, Satan.
Not today. I know. I feel like Tom Cruise at the beginning of Top Gun Maverick, where he's like, you're the last of your kind, Maverick. Like, it's over. And he's like, maybe soon, maybe so, sir, but not today. And like, we're going to keep going with whatever the fuck this is. I so appreciate all your time. We have now gotten to the last look section of the podcast where I'm going to ask you 4 pop culture questions. What is your favorite movie of all time?
Jurassic Park.
Great call.
And or Uncle Buck. I saw I have a distant aunt who was Spielberg's assistant, and she organized when Jurassic Park came out. She organized for our whole family a private screening at the Lloyd Center in Portland, the Lloyd Cinemas, a private screening of Jurassic Park. I was in 5th grade, I think, and I remember like we got free treats and they brought us there in a limo. It was like the craziest experience, and I was so moved by the CG. I was moved by the dinos. I love dinos, first of all.
Yeah.
And it was just like the most, to me, not only the most relevant theme of our time.
Yeah.
And of my time. Like the idea that science, no one ever, like even with AI, you don't question if we should, you know, like we're just going for it, you know, and the like dynamic, that theme, but also like the cast. I mean,
oh, get out of here.
I cannot. And yeah, the dinos of it all. And it was just like a magical theater experience for me.
I love that. That's in that theater that's right across the street from the Lloyd Center.
Yeah.
I have seen many movies there during my time in Portland. And then my husband shot a movie up in Portland this summer. And I got these shoes at the Lloyd Center and literally wore them because you were coming today. And I needed like some Portland.
Oh my God. Portland showing up.
Obsessed. Okay, that's amazing. And then Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck is just a timeless classic.
It really is.
I love uncle culture, auntie culture. I love like a rugged auntie uncle. That's kind of like my whole vibe.
Yeah.
And I think, and I've talked to many other Native people, that Uncle Buck at its heart is an Indigenous story. Like to me, like auntie uncle culture is so Indigenous because in our original, like our philosophies about family structure and community structure, like parents and aunties and uncles are in the same hierarchical position. So in
Yes.
American and like a lot of Western and white culture, parents are at the top, and then it's sort of like grandparents and then aunties and uncles are down here. But in our family structure, like aunties and uncles are basically called like little mom or little dad in a lot of Indigenous languages. And like, it's just like,
totally. There's
how
that
it
great
is.
part in Reservation Dogs, and I want to say Rita says something, maybe to Teeny, like, "Well, you don't have kids,"
Right.
and she's like, "Bev doesn't either," and you're like, "But I'm an aunt." And like that really kind of shuts it down. One of the many things I love about that show is even just as you are sort of educating right now, like I did not know that. And that's awesome. And also like how it should be, and everyone would not be losing their minds
and that is
doing it all alone.
Truly, in my opinion, like, we talk a lot about like representation matters and shit like that. But like, I think like Indigenous representation or understanding Indigenous history and understanding Indigenous philosophies, and like, I think it's better for everyone because it sort of is our innate way as people, and to like acknowledge it and to codify it sort of and be like, no, as an auntie and uncle, like you are responsible and you should sort of step up and help the parents. And but also like to be able to show that on screen and to express it on screen is a lot more impactful than writing it in a textbook or having like auntie and uncle like legal policy. Like what is that,
No,
but like
exactly.
we know that like this is a cultural element that like the only way to sort of express that idea and to codify it is to put it on film and TV.
Exactly. Okay. Amazing choices. What are, if you are stranded on a deserted island and you have 2 albums with you to help maintain your sanity while you're there, what are those 2 albums?
I'm going to say Fleetwood Mac,
Rumors.
Hell and
yes.
I'm gonna say this is a very fucking weird and wild one, but Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill.
Listen,
I'm a 90s girl.
I was just gonna say,
I'm doing a podcast tomorrow recapping the Lilith Fair documentary.
The Lilith Fair documentary that changed my life, you say? That nothing ever made me happier. And then how about my favorites, the Indigo Girls, when that moment in the doc where it's like, and everyone was like a little, like it was going great, but everyone was a little bit separated.
Yeah.
Then Indigo Girls joined the tour.
Yeah, they stepped up and they said, come on, ladies.
Exactly.
Let's sing. Let's sing in the trailer after the show.
Oh my God. I loved it so much.
I would have paid $1 million to fucking just sing everybody's songs together. Oh my God.
So other than that, have you seen Alanis in concert? Like
I've never seen Alanis in concert on her own.
Me either. And I'm like not okay with that. I mean,
not okay with that
Jagged Little
either.
Pill, that it's like it beyond hit the culture. That it was so defining. And also everyone couldn't believe she's talking about going down on someone in a theater. And it's probably the guy from Full House. And like that was right. If we were like teens of the 90s, like that was, oh my God.
Yeah.
But also,
and it unleashed the rage that I felt being like, yeah, fuck you, Dave Coulier. Like, who the fuck are you? You think you're, and just like being like a young woman in a very sinister, misogynistic music scene to be like she's just holding her own. And I was like, man, incredible. I fucking get it.
Right? I love her so much and will go supposed former infatuation junkie for my choice of Alanis albums. Jagged Little Pill is the move. There are some on there. Whew.
Oh yeah.
So good. So good.
Oh yeah.
Great choices. Okay. What is either your favorite book of all time or a book you've read recently that's really stayed with you and you'd recommend?
My favorite book of all time is, and I have read recently, I've read it several times, is Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. It's very prophetic and timely and
sadly timely.
Yeah. And, I read it again actually last year or 2 years ago. And then kept getting, and then I recommended it to Michael Gray Eyes, who was on Rutherford Falls with me, and he was like, "Oh God," because Michael is a prepper. But it is a sort of a post-apocalyptic story about Los Angeles, actually about post-apocalyptic fire Altadena, which is very relevant right now.
Wild.
And the way that she's talking about religion and new religion and philosophy and sort of like cult mentality and also like migration and just like and wealth disparities. It's very, very moving. I also love The Color Purple, the book by Alice
Walker.
So good and just like so gay and so real. Yeah, I'm really into post-apocalyptic stories for some reason, probably because my people have lived through many apocalypses.
Yes.
And also Black authors. I just really find Black women writers to be so pointed about critique about culture. I find this to be true for Native authors as well, that like what if you really want to learn about white culture, like read Black authors, read Native authors. Like very interesting points of view on whiteness.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. TV. What TV is either your favorite show of all time or a show that you're watching now and loving?
Favorite show of all time is probably either Golden Girls or Roseanne. Unfortunately, Rosie has
it's a problematic.
Yes,
she has.
But the show itself,
yeah,
is so good and of its time, and would love to recreate. I mean, the multicam that Sierra and I created was a little bit in that vein. That was like working class on the res, woman just holding it together, like holding it down. And dealing with real things, but in a funny way. Golden Girls is also a show after my own heart. The jokes are hitting on Golden Girls.
Yes.
If y'all haven't watched Golden Girls in a while and you need a hearty laugh, highly recommend tuning in. And what I have watching now, this is the hardest one because I watch everything and I watch it all the way through.
You're a completist.
I am a completist.
Me too.
And
it's kind of a bummer sometimes.
You know what? Here's a show that I feel like doesn't, it's not, okay, I'm just going to talk about it. Morning Show.
Okay. Yes. I haven't seen this new season yet.
You haven't?
I am up to speed on seasons 1 through 3.
Okay. This last season is, in my opinion, was the best season.
Oh, wow.
And I don't really like the other seasons.
Okay.
I find them to be corny and very ham-fisted. Really, really melodramatic. And I found the writing to be sort of floppy in a way. I don't know how else to describe it. It was just a little bit like not accessible, but they really sharpened the knife this last season, and they gave because it's a predominantly female cast, and these powerhouse actors. Stacked cast.
Yeah. Isn't Marion Cotillard in this new season? For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Can do no wrong.
Yeah. And I feel like it was like giving these very intensely talented actresses like kind of weird shitty stories, and so I was kind of like, God, morning show, like I want you to be better. Like come on.
Yeah.
And this season, especially the finale, like really, really like,
oh, I can't wait.
It takes you on a ride. It takes you on a ride of power that you really have been yearning for through the whole show.
Ooh, great.
And I didn't even think that I was going to say morning show today, but I'm just trying to think of a show that like kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
Like, I watched the what's the crime drama that
Task.
Task was incredible. From
Loved.
top to bottom.
I'm
like,
obsessed with Brad Inglesby and everything he does. I loved Mayor of Easttown to a degree
Oh,
that's
yeah.
not healthy.
Totally.
I love Task. And I'm from Philadelphia, so I just want to talk about.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That's all I
Task
wanna
was
talk
like
about. Incredible.
a perfect show. To
Yes,
me, I was like,
right?
wow, nothing is wrong with this show.
No.
It's so good. The performances are blowing my mind. The writing is
No
blowing my
notes.
mind.
Yeah.
No notes. But
Tom Pelphrey's accent. Oh my God.
oh my God. And like just like the way that I wanted to hump every actor and
Yeah.
also like Mark Ruffalo. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, I will take a drunk and schlubby
Oh,
Mark Ruffalo.
Who plays Rumpled better than Mark Ruffalo?
And just being like so sad and
So
like I'm
sad.
questioning my faith. Oh
my God. I know.
Anyway, that's like a show that like can do no wrong
Yeah.
for me, but like morning show, I'm like, you can do no right. And then they did right.
But see, exactly. Like it's never over.
Yeah.
There's I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. These are great. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you got Task in there too.
Yeah.
Jana, this was awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Becky.
Oh my God, of course. I'm so excited. I never know how to end this. I'm just gonna get up and give you a hug. General Meeting with Becky Sloviter is hosted and executive produced by me, Becky Sloviter. Our editor is Jay Rothman. Our audio engineer and director of photography is Hector Fernandez. Our tech producer is Griffin Davis. And our theme music is by Jay Rothman. If you're enjoying this podcast, I would be so appreciative if you would subscribe or follow the show on whatever platform you get your podcasts. All of our episodes are on video as well on our YouTube channel at General Meeting Pod. Please consider subscribing there as well. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at General Meeting Pod. And more information is on our website, generalmeetingpod.com. Thank you, and most importantly, go Birds.